Holy, I can't believe it's not Batman! Batman! Tiki here, and I've been watching through Batman the Animated Series for the first time, and, Dragon, you're gonna have to explain something to me here, because, where is the Batman in my Batman show, Dragon? Tell us why!
Well, you see, folks, long ago I made a vow about educate Tiki in the ways of Batman the Animated Series, serving as his spirit guide to Gotham in a way.
And tonight we're talking Girls' Night Out, which, Dragon, if I haven't made it clear enough, there's no Batman here!
Well, you have the bare minimum of Batman. He is in this episode, but this is utterly the bare minimum of Batman you could get.
Okay, that being said, Dragon, I am not going to sit here and pretend like this is some sort of like high point hidden gem of season 4, but I will say I had a fun time. This is fun. That's about that. That's about the biggest compliment I can give it, but it is a compliment. I think this episode is a fun time. I liked seeing Supergirl quite a bit. It honestly kind of makes me sort of excited if we are going to dive into the realm of Superman the Animated Series. I have no idea. You are the guide on that, and I am just the apparently the passenger in this this endeavor. But it's interesting in this episode to see a couple different sides of the DC animated universe, and I will say, Dragon, this is going to sound like a weird thing to fixate on, but I really loved the voice actress for Livewire. I don't know what it was about her. I looked her up, and she's been in a couple iconic roles, probably most famously Tank Girl.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm not too familiar with her, but there's just something about her delivery that kind of just, it's very quirky and kind of like a Kristen Schaal kind of way, where it's, it definitely has like kind of like an interesting sort of unique quality to it. So the character herself is just kind of okay. It's just kind of whatever, but I really like the way it was voiced. So yeah, overall, this is probably, if I'm being honest with you, this is probably the most middle of the road episode of season 4, but I definitely think it's above, some of the big ones that I've complained about. I had a fun enough time with this one, Dragon. I don't think it's aiming for the moon by any means, but I think it's a decent time.
All right. Okay, so a little background. So this is directed by the great Kurt Gaeta, who's going to go on to do some really amazing Batman Beyond stuff. But for the time being, he did the so Livewire, by the way, was from what I recall, she is an original creation for Superman the Animated Series. So she was like the Harley Quinn for Superman the Animated Series to an extent. Only she didn't catch on as well. She was put in the comics though, and she comes back from time to time. She's been adapted. So she kind of has somewhat of a stay power like Harley Quinn, which doesn't have like the massive fan base. Anyway, So he did the episode that introduced her. I did Animal Act for this season, as well as Torch Song. One of your favorites. Mm-hmm. The writer on this was Hilary J. Bader. She had done, so again, she also worked on Superman the Animated Series. She did another Livewire episode, one with the Parasite. There was an episode where Parasite and Livewire team up, the Power Sucker and the Power Generator, which is kind of interesting. It's called Double Dose.
Yep.
From Superman. And, she had also done Animal Act, a Nightwing episode with Gaeta and You Scratch My Back. And she was really big on the Nightwing episodes. All right, so the studio worked on this. Coco with the little splash of Dong Yang, little wine stain from the old house studio, if you will. They had done all the Livewire episodes, as in they did Livewire and Double Dose. Again, the two episodes I already mentioned. Did Torch Song and Animal Act. So you get a sense there's kind of a camaraderie amongst our guys doing the show on this one. Mm-hmm. All right, so all you really need to know going into this one is this is post World's Finest. At this time when both shows are in production, we're really in season 3. At this stage of New Adventures, we are in season 3 of Superman the Animated Series, and Superman the Animated Series introduced Supergirl in season 3. So at this point, we're gonna. At the end of New Adventures, what we're going to do is we're going to get to a couple of the Superman crossovers. And Superman the Animated Series did a couple episodes that had Batman in them or crossed over with Batman, like this one. This is one of the kind of flip sides of the coin where in an episode of Batman you had a Superman crossover. You see how it goes?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So, again, this is again most likely the least Batman ever in the animated series completely, as in like she only has like a cameo pretty much in the episode, cameo and a phone call. That's about it. Let's see, and this is not popular. This is not a popular episode.
Is it like infamously bad?
I mean, I don't know if
because I didn't think it was terrible. I mean, if anything, I thought it was just okay. But
it's not infamously bad. It just might be. Here's the thing. I think the episode's heralded purely in the aesthetic sense, and that it spotlighted the female characters of the DCAU and put them all in
that
an
makes
episode.
sense. That makes sense. Yeah,
that's kind of the heralded part of the episode. But for the most part, it's a Batman episode without Batman in it. So you can imagine how well that's going to go over.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, so it's kind of infamous for that reason, but again, it's not a deal breaker. It's not like a truly infamous episode. It's not like Bruce Timm's going to put on like his list of least favorite episodes or anything. By no means. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's just dive right into it. So we start off with Livewire, voiced by Lori Petty.
Yeah. So, like I said, Dragon, I don't want to dwell on it, but I love her kind of like sultry kind of. She's just got a very unique voice. I don't know. I don't really have much to say about it. But
two things. One, I'm shocked that you like this character at all. That you like the voice, at least.
I like the voice. I don't, like I said, the character is just kind of whatever. I don't really care that much about the character either way, but the voice is cool.
Yeah, actually, the character's origin in her Livewire episode is actually really interesting. She's kind of like take Howard Stern, because she was a radio shock jock. That was her thing. She was a radio shock jock who kind of broke the network rules, and she always roasted about Superman. She didn't like Superman. She always kind of chewed him out on the radio. It's kind of like take part of that, take a little bit of Tank Girl, and kind of mix in Electro, and that's Livewire pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So, we have kind of this expo-heavy kind of chat with the driver, basically spelling out, like, hey, we're transporting you from Metropolis to GothCorp Labs so we can cure you and get back to whatever normal is for you. I love you too, jerkface. That sort of thing. So I love that we've continued this. GothCorp, Bruce Wayne used GothCorp to help save Mr. Freeze's wife. Remember, we used the
yes, sure.
So we've kept that going since that Cold Comfort episode. Bruce Wayne's using GothCorp to help people.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
All right, so Dragon, there's a little bit of a snag on the road, a fallen electrical line.
Yep, the power line's been down.
Yeah, power line.
Yep. So of course that's like hello to Livewire. She's found a way to escape, so she recharges herself. And oh boy, she can now travel via the electricity as she is.
Oh, what? I think that's a cool power, Dragon. Characterization wise, she's kind of just okay. I think it's a cool power though. The whole traveling between the electric currents thing.
No, that's fine. What I'm saying is,
I feel like if Electro would have had that power, that would make me like Electro a little bit more.
That's the thing. Her powers, I think, are really well utilized in the episode. The thing with Livewire is she's also, I don't know if this kind of factors into maybe some of the infamous kind of buzz the episode gets among certain circles, is that Livewire is a bit of a divisive character. Some people think she's annoying, some people like her.
Mm-hmm.
And I think some episodes she works better than others. I mean, this is, again, it's kind of middle of the road, where, I mean, her power set's really cool. I mean, that's, it's not terrible, but, Anyway, so, yeah, so she can travel through the electricity. So she finds a way to escape in doing that, through the power lines. Meanwhile, Batgirl in the Batmobile, which never feels right to me. I don't like her, because here's the thing: Batgirl's whole thing, and we see this explored sometimes in the comics, that her whole thing is the Batcycle. It's how she was introduced in the '60s show.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a huge thing in the '60s show. In the third season, you knew it was a Batgirl episode. If hey, Batgirl comes in on the purple Batcycle in the opening credits, that was huge. So we always do that thing where, Batgirl Year One and such, it's like, hey, she rides the Batcycle. In this case,
it's kind of like, just tracing our uncomfortable levels with this. It's kind of like Bruce is getting a little too familiar with Barbara to let her into the Batmobile. I don't know. The
second time ever someone else has driven the Batmobile.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
And it's been her both times that she's driven.
That's privilege, man. That's privilege.
Yep. All right. So basically, she loops Batman in on the Livewire situation, and Batman.
Oh my God! I forgot that Batman was even in this scene.
That's him on the screen, and then you hear him on the phone. That's about it. So Batman's
I'll
getting
be
looped
back
in
in
here.
Gotham in less than 48 hours.
Yep. Be careful. And he's going to. I'll see what I can do about getting you some special help. In the meantime. So here's the thing I really want to know, Tiki. Every time I watch this episode, here's it runs through my mind. So Batman's in the Batplane right now. I wonder what is so important it would take Batman out of Gotham. So I mean, it's either. Here's the thing. It could possibly be
maybe he's going to try to recruit Aquaman for the Justice League Dragon.
Funny. Anyway, you know what's funny? You know, they tried building in all the Justice League through the Superman show. He actually meets pretty much all the possible Justice League members. They don't end up. They don't really go that way in the end because they kind of threw that out the window when they eventually did the Justice League show. It's like, oh, let's introduce him again. Let's not worry about that. But you know, Superman's met him before. Is kind of the idea. Anyway, so that's the thing. It's either we have a couple again, as I mentioned in Superman, we have like a couple Batman crossovers. So I wonder if perhaps we're doing one of those right now, and we're just concurrently timing it with this.
Oh, because
Superman's, it can only be really one episode, technically, because all the other ones, the other one is, it kind of takes Bruce Wayne out of the equation, so, but we'll get to that when we get there. It's either that or like a whole unrelated thing, which kind of entices me more, like, oh god, what is Batman up to? And we don't get to know. But it would make sense why Superman's also not in the episode if it was like the Ra's al Ghul crossover. So.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, let's see. So Batgirl assumes that, Livewire's probably going to head back to Metropolis. And then, of course, Livewire's stirring up trouble. Nope.
Just what I need. Another killjoy and a cape.
Yep, so she finds a little playmate that is not as invulnerable. So she, so let me take the initiative and introduce myself. I'm Livewire. She electrifies the car, basically frying Batgirl on the inside, which is kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
So back in Metropolis, Kara, here's the thing, it's so funny now, because now that we have the Supergirl show about to wrap up, by the way, it's about to enter its final season, her name, I've got so used to calling her Kara, because that's what we've done in the show, and animation so many times, but in that Supergirl show, she's called Kara, so it always bothers me, like it goes from Kara to Kara. Anyway.
All right, so she says it's been one quiet week in Metropolis. So far, the biggest thrill has been reading through, sorting Clark's mail.
Yep, so she's on the phone with Ma Kent, otherwise to the kids out there, given the Batman-Superman aspect of the episode, Martha.
So she's on the phone with Martha!
Why did you say that name?
All right.
All right, so again, as I mentioned, so we've introduced her in season 3, and the idea is, so ordinarily she was Dick Grayson was always put at college when we didn't want to put him in the episodes. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So her thing was that in season 3 we had Supergirl, but we didn't want her in every episode. So what we did is she bunks with the Kents on the Kent farm. That's why she's on the phone with Martha here. So she just she's calling because she usually lives there, and then basically Clark is taken around to the world now and again, kind of like Dick Grayson Robin.
I like that. That's a fun dynamic.
Seriously, I think you'd really like the Supergirl episodes that they gave her in Superman the Animated Series. So.
I honestly think I'd probably appreciate Superman the Animated Series as a whole. Dragon.
I know you, Tiki. Seriously, I know you love Superman the Animated Series.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to getting to it.
Yeah. Plus, it's now on HBO Max, the whole series. Okay. So anyway, so on the phone, so then another call comes on the line as she's like doodling, Supergirl saves Metropolis. Again, all nice and pleasant. Look at that, good old Supergirl. Anyway, so we have this great scene where Batman, not even really in the episode, he calls in with a coded message, and this is great. It says, who is this? A friend. And it's critical that Clark Kent get this message. So a Livewire has escaped in Gotham, and if he wants to get on top of the story, he should get there right away. Who is this? Sounds like a cape, and of course, click. Batman has no time for these games. Like, click, that's it. I'm out. You ruined it.
Right.
Supergirl's going to Gotham. She ain't going to relay that message to Clark. No, she's going to do it herself.
Right. So meanwhile, like you said, Dragon, Batgirl is getting, it's kind of a miracle that she quacks out of this alive, quite honestly.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. So before Batgirl fries, she ejects, and again with the change in design with the Batmobile instead of an ejector seat. This is a cool idea. It seems like unfortunately, I was not lucky enough to have both Batmobiles. I have the important one that matters, but I never got the before they made the super accurate ones they're doing now. I didn't get like the old version of this one. So this might have been like a toyetic tie-in where if you eject from the Batmobile, you jump through the roof like she is right now. That's kind of cool. It has like the glider shield thing. That's really neat. Then we play the old school Batgirl thing, which we haven't heard since her introduction into the series. Tiki, the whole whole.
Right. That's cool.
Anyway, so she's Batgirl's clearly outgunned. She's throwing some smoke pellets, but it's a no-go because again, she didn't expect to go up against Livewire this fast. So she's then against the fence, which then leads to some creepy lines from Livewire. Fried bats. Hot off the grill. Like, oh God, she's going to fry Batgirl. Dear God. Oh, a kid's show. Kids WB. Oh, no. So then who saves her?
Who saves her? Supergirl does, right? Or Batgirl?
Yes. No, well, Supergirl saves Batgirl, yes.
Okay, sorry.
The Supergirl saves Batgirl, and then the duo are properly introduced here. Again, Nicole Tom and Tara Strong, kind of getting the two famed voice actresses from their respective shows together. Big crossover.
Supergirl, that's me.
Yep.
All right, so Supergirl gets zapped down again by Livewire.
This is the first time they've met, by the way. Livewire and Supergirl. This is the first time they really kind of faced off against each other. So yeah, Superman kept
the size and apparently half the brain.
Yeah, we kind of call something out here where you'll notice the electricity is kind of doing a number on Supergirl here, where they kind of made a Fleischer Superman compromise in Superman the Animated Series, where he gets really powerful once we get like deeper in the Justice League, but they wanted to kind of make him as Fleischer-like as they could, so he can get he won't kill him, but it'll kind of like knock him across a room. So that's kind of what the electricity's doing right now. All right. So let's see. So Batarang gets thrown by Batgirl to kind of help her new friend here. Like a bug and a fly. They have ever see what happens to a bug in a fly zapper, which is not good news for Batgirl. Luckily, Livewire very conveniently has run out of juice. Later, babies. So she's out. Yep. Then we have like the welcome to Gotham line. Of course, Supergirl's out of her elements. Nearly got the floor wiped with her, but she's got a friend in Batgirl. But who's on the scene to kind of rub salt in the wound that they let Livewire get away? Tiki, who's the
Detective Harvey Bullock?
I love that we have Bullock in this episode.
Bullock is just kind of like the authority figure keeping the kids in line.
The cheap call wouldn't have been bad, but like, you think we'd do Montoya, right? But no, we got Bullock. We got Bullock just rubbing salt.
What if it was Gordon?
Well, obviously, then we have the whole Batgirl tension for sure. And they really try. If you ever look at it, Tiki, they never really have Batgirl in the same room with.
Yeah, I was
Gordon.
going to ask: is that something they avoid generally?
That's something they avoid. So, for example, like in the Critters, for example, Batgirl's in the room, but she's in shadow. So they really went to an extent. If you know, she's never like just standing there with Gordon, like she's in the background in shadow or something. That's as close as she gets to avoid her father recognizing her, basically confirming any suspicions he already has about pretty much knowing that she's Batgirl. Like, they keep the distance professionally between them. Anyway, so yeah, Bullock's here. I love this. Bullock, I can't believe I'm saying this, but where's the bat? Even he wants Batman in this episode. Not saying something. We're handling this. So, basically, your Supergirl's a little put off by, oh, man, this Bullock guy's going to harsh and mellow. So, Batgirl's saying, yeah, don't worry about that donut dunker. Don't let him get you.
Yeah.
Supergirl's confident that 2 against 1, they're in good. They have good odds. They're in good shape. But of course, saying 2 against 1 has doomed them for what's about to happen. So
we go to Xanadu.
Well, pretty much, yeah.
Dragon, the back of the car literally says Rosebud. It's Xanadu.
Yeah, well, it's also, I'm thinking Harley and Ivy because it's the same car, but yeah.
It's Xanadu!
No, you're right, I'm just saying that's where my mind goes to.
Alright.
So we have this, what do you think about the hideout? It's like a closed zoo.
I like it a lot, honestly. I love this sentient hedge creatures. That was very much out of
Stephen King's The Shining.
Oh yeah. So, see, we have like these the sentient topiaries, yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right, so Ivy, let's see. So I think Ivy's powers are great in this episode. I think it's some of the best Ivy stuff we've done since the revamp. Like, so the way she uses like her plant abilities, again, all of the sentient topiaries and some of the cool stuff she does later. So let's see. So of course, like the topiary kicks one of the hyenas before it waters it because your hyena's been watering my plants again. So Harley's saying, "Oh, come on, Ivy. They can't help it. We all can't help it. We've been cooped up in here for so long."
Yeah.
Doing some acrobatic flips as she is wont to do, and she suggests a night on the town. Oh, right, that's a good idea. Arkham's Most Wanted on a shopping spree. That's great. America's Most Wanted on a shopping.
I feel like they've already done that like a couple times in the show.
Well, mainly holiday nights.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but it was Christmas though, Tiki. Exceptions must be made. Anyway, so they can't risk attracting Batman's attention until they have an edge. Enter
Livewire.
Yeah.
Dramatic pause. I like how she just comes out from the toaster of all things, Dragon.
I love that. Ladies, meet your edge.
Oh, God. Dragon, what I like, do you think that she was just, like, hanging out in the toaster? Like, that's one thing that kind of threw me off. Like, she knows exactly the context of the conversation going on. Like, how long do you think she was just eavesdropping?
Well, I mean, she was definitely waiting there. You're right. Of how long. Because again, very much the shock jock showman.
It's impeccably good timing.
And again, she is kind of the radio person. She's waiting to interject perfectly. There, so she is waiting.
All
right. So kind of like holiday nights, we go to the Gotham Mall.
Oh boy, yeah, that's the thing, Dragon. This whole episode kind of felt like a spiritual successor to Holiday Nights in some ways.
I know if people want to split hairs, yes, I know it was a department store and like the fancy stores in Holiday Nights, but
it still feels similar. All right, so yeah. I do love this runner with Harley's mallet. I think it's probably the funniest thing in the episode.
I think Harley was the MVP of the episode. I think Harley got all the best bits.
Do you think this episode is kind of like, all right, we're going to put all the best funny Harley bits in this episode so that next episode we get to make you feel.
I like to think so, Tiki. Like to think so.
All right, so Harley is she's just like, oh God, I love this visual. She's like swinging at the department store door with her giant mallet, and it's not doing a thing, Dragon. It's basically like the hammer's made out of rubber or something.
I love it. Ivy's just been here so many times. She tries so hard, and then Livewire basically shows her by literally blowing the doors off the place, and Ivy's impressed, and I love seeing how annoyed Harley Quinn is. So again, seeing Harley and Live are really jealous of each other this whole episode. All right, so then we have like this clumsy, nervous guard, is trying to apprehend them, and of course Ivy. I got to admit, I'm not crazy about the Ivy redesign, but I will admit, I think this is some of the best Ivy animation. If we're going to do the sultry animation, we did it pretty well here. Just doing like the slow walk and everything. It was well animated. It's a silly bit, but Anyway, so she basically does this thing where she kind of does like you do the fingers to do. It's kind of like the. I guess the less germy kiss that we're going to be doing going forward now. It's just like, do like the 2 fingers to the lips thing.
Yeah. All
right, so let's see. So she's, the guard's taken out. Meanwhile, they're robbing ATMs in very creative ways. So,
this is probably my favorite.
This is great.
Scene.
This is what I'm talking about.
In the whole episode, I think.
And this one's up. I love Ivy. Like, Ivy's using the seeds to rob the ATM. She's using her power so well here. Like, using basically break the machine, get the cash out. Nice, but messy. Then enter Livewire. What does she do?
She basically just like hijacks it with her electricity power somehow and just like flows out all very clean like. And then Harley, not very subtle, just like bang, bang, bang.
Just hitting it with the mallet again. No luck. And then we just see. Again, Livewire has no patience for Harley. She just kind of hates Harley. Just like in real peeves. So then she just basically makes the cash shoot out and just orders Harley around, pick up the cash and put it in the car. When did we become the help? All right, so then we have, let's see, here's a cute, this is a really cute bit here. This is a cute bit of Supergirl flying with Batgirl on her shoulders. This is where, like, they're super friends. Isn't that cute?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's flying around. I think this is like a nice, I think this bit works a lot better than what we do later when we're trying to cement the friendship between these two, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
It's Supergirl finds Livewire, let's see, finds him basically seeing all these, again, these random giant electrical discharges in the sky. Yeah, it's a little random, but...
I do like how Livewire does travel around in the electrical current. I think it is very creatively animated.
That's great, though. I'm just saying, like, Supergirl from the distance just sees, like, pretty much a lightning storm from the outside of the building, which I don't get if she's on the inside doing the really cool lightning effects, where she's getting in all the dresses and everything. Yeah. All right, so let's see. So we have, like, too dark, too light. Well, let me guess, just right. So then the action's getting cooking here. So now, let's see. So chases after Supergirl. I love there's a plan here. Batgirl has a plan. Okay, so Livewire's going to go after Supergirl, which is then going to lead to the ball of silicate dust.
The ball of silicate dust.
I love the ball of silicate dust. It's so clever.
Dragon, that's got to be the most nerdy sentence you've ever said in your life. I love the ball of silicate dust.
But it's so clever. It's
No,
like,
I know. It is clever. I'm just saying, just that sentence out of context just sounds so very nerdy.
Well, I was playing it up a little.
I know. All right.
So basically,
but yeah, it is very clever.
We have this non-conductive coating again, classic kind of Batman 101. You're gonna now
flour your glue.
Yes. We use the encounter to inform the winning strategy this time. So now she's literally grounded. End of story. Not so much, says Ivy. Harley and Ivy enter to lend an assist, and then Ivy throws these seeds on Supergirl. And this is cool, because if you did this to Batman, he might die. But you can do it to Supergirl.
This was surprisingly horrifying to me, Dragon. As you know, there's been one or two times where Harley's plants have kind of terrified me. And
You're terrified of Ivy plants, I know that.
I got to admit, the idea of, like, throwing... now, correct me if I'm wrong, Drag. Correct me if this is, like, not how the power works. But from what I understand, it looked like the seeds, like, got implanted into the skin, and then, like, the vines, like, kind of burst out from under the skin.
Well, here, I mean, the way... I don't think they could have gone that I didn't see him embed in the skin. I don't think they could have gotten away with that, because it might have been too horrifying. But then again, it's kids WB, and they've been really bloodthirsty this season, so I'm not going to rule it out. I didn't notice it. I mean, you might. I don't know if you saw it subtly burrow in there, because again, it's Supergirl, so I'm not really thinking like that. If it were Batgirl, then I would have paid attention to how horrifying it was. But again, it's not going to burrow into her. Basically, it couldn't burrow into her skin because she's.
That's true.
Never do that.
But it's still kind of horrifying, just the vines just, like, encapsulating her.
And, her being alive while it's happening, too.
Yeah.
So, yes, points like, how are you going to stop a Kryptonian? Well, I mean, you can't stop, but you can slow one down. That's how you slow one down. It's pretty impressive.
Uh-huh.
So, let's see. So, as Supergirl's contending with that, Harley has the boxing glove round on the pop gun, which is great, just to kind of knocks Batgirl into this phone booth. Then we have this great comedy of Harley, again, being the MVP of the episode, Wake up, Sparky! With, like, a seltzer bottle of all things, which is a terrible idea.
And that just really just kind of makes her electricity just go haywire.
Yep. And again, kind of revitalizes her, but still pretty much shorts her out. So, like, are you? And then we have one of the best Harley bits ever. This is great. Are you out of your mind? Almost like that Emerson line. Are you out of your mind? Then we just have this great bit where Harley's being held by the scruff of her jester collar. Just thinks about it for a second. Yeah. It's just perfect. Okay, so Livewire's out of juice, ergo they have to...
This is a really cool Poison Ivy moment right here.
I know, this is what I'm talking about. This is like, they just nailed her powers down perfectly. This is how you do Ivy and make her terrifying. So... Supergirl's free. Ivy does a really clever thing here. She tosses the same seeds, seemingly, we think the same seeds, at Batgirl or in the phone booth. But then Supergirl lasers him to save what she thinks is her new buddy. Like, hey, I lasered the seeds. Now she's not going to be like, traumatized and all these vines. Where we reveal, oh, Supergirl, that's actually the most virulent allergenic toxin in the Floral Kingdom. And then we see Batgirl now suffocating and trapped in the phone booth.
Yeah, that was a really well done reveal, man. I thought that was a super clever move on Ivy's part.
It's genius, and of course, and then this is the clever writing you need in the DCAU, where again you have a super character, a Kryptonian, where they could stop this fight in like 5 seconds if they really wanted to,
Right.
if they really did. But how the heck are we going to let her have our villains get away so we have an Act 3? Well, we have to have them save someone. There we go, Poison Ivy coming in handy with their little plant, their devilish plant tricks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Ivy and company escape. Supergirl saves Batgirl, and then we have, basically, we get some air in Batgirl, like an oxygen tank, back at the apartment, and we have a little gal pal talk session going on here. And this is, I gotta tell you, I used to cut this scene some slack, but when you go back to it, it doesn't play as well as I remember.
Really? I mean, I don't think it's like magnificent character writing or anything, but I mean, I do think it gets the basics of why these two would get along.
No. That's still there, Tiki. I'm just saying, like, a certain line rings a little more noticeable than it used to.
Oh, what is
the
it?
whole? Yep.
What?
I'm sorry. What? I thought you were going to say the line.
No. What's the line?
Oh, it's the chores. I've always wanted chores.
Okay, yeah, that's a little dumb, but
whatever.
whatever.
That's what I'm saying. I love the sentiment. I like the friendship. I think bits like before when they're flying around, like with Batgirl on her shoulders. I think that plays a lot better than this. It's like
Sure.
Live on a farm. I've always wanted a little chores. It's like it's okay, but it's like doesn't. I think it was a lot easier before we went over with a fine tooth. Kind of like, yeah, maybe that line doesn't play as well as I remember. Okay, so we get a little expo on like how Batgirl's able to do what she does. Like Barbara works systems and data analysis at the GCPD, kind of under her father's nose. That's kind of what she does. So basically they're kind of bonding. They're kind of looking for a lead there. Meanwhile, we're at the Iceberg Lounge, and this is a great. Yes. I love anytime we go to the Iceberg Lounge. I love it.
So basically, the trio here is just not really being they're just not on the same page here.
Yeah, they're not getting along as well as Babs and Kara are.
No.
So Harley's trying to show Livewire a good time at the lounge. Look, real seals!
Livewire is just like, why would you take me to a place that's like 80% water?
Yep. And the whole like, come on, lighten up, have a drink. I don't do liquids. Livewire is, as Ivy points out, you could be a little more appreciative. We did save you back there, which is true. It's like, yeah, Livewire, you could be more appreciative, man.
Yeah.
So they're about to mix it up and get into a fight, which is then Penguin shows up, tries to quail it. And like Livewire completely discourteous. Like, no one's talking to you, lard butt.
That's absolutely like the low point of Livewire this episode for sure.
Yeah.
And I like how Penguin just, of course, Paul Williams, a man who, in our circles, Dragon, commands respect.
Utterly.
He's like, oh, that's it.
Out you three pixies. Out you go.
So I really do like this brief Penguin bit.
Mm-hmm. So they basically trash the Iceberg Lounge, and we don't even get to see it. We just know bad stuff's about that, and then we cut to the aftermath, which is great. Where we see the Iceberg Lounge is a mess with all these vines and damage, and probably electrical damage, I'm sure. And Penguin's on the phone, like basically to arrange everything to fix up the place. I want chainsaws. I love Paul Williams listening. I want chainsaws. I want contractors, I want hedge clippers, and a bottle of aspirin now. So then Supergirl and Batgirl enter. This is a great scene with the Penguin, too. Man, my God, you can never go wrong with Paul Williams.
Yeah.
So you're not even old enough to be in here. And Penguin, he wants Batman. Give me someone who can do something. Batman, Superman, someone. So then they kind of acknowledge we're at a stalemate here. It's like, we're all you got. So either play with us or you give up the game. So then we have classic Penguin the Informant here, which is the typical role that he plays once we get into the Iceberg Lounge kind of state of things. Where, well, not that I know anything, mind you, of course, says Batgirl, knowing all too well.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard rumors on Harley and Ivy's hideout is essentially, which takes us back to the zoo garden.
So Live Wire is kind of I guess it's okay if you're into green. And Ivy's kind of sick of this shit at this point. It's like,
yeah,
you're not going to get all hissy again, are you? Now that we've kissed and made up.
Nah, we could do without the mutts though. So she's zapping at the hyenas. Much to Ivy's delight, though. She has a point, Harl. So let's see. Send the rhubarb. The rhubarb is going crazy. Basically, it's kind of this perimeter alarm via just some giant plant life in the apartment. It goes haywire. So basically, the trio set a trap for the duo.
Mm-hmm.
So Batgirl has a lot of silicon. It's got a lot of silicon that basically needs like a 20-foot range, and then live wire won't be a problem. So then we have this. This is an excellent reveal that kicks things off here, where Supergirl's doing the X-ray vision, doing a little reconnaissance. And as she's looking, she sees Harley. But what's Harley doing?
Yeah, Harley's just staring right back at her with the stupid, I think she's sticking her tongue out or something.
Yeah, so give her the raspberry, just making fun of her. Basically making fun of her, which keys up. They know it's a setup. It's a trap.
It's a trap.
Exactly. So then of course they're ambushed here. So the silicate Ivy takes the silicate tank out of Batgirl's hands and crushes it. Meanwhile, we have this hilarious bit of it's hilarious as Supergirl gets knocked around as she's kind of coming to her feet. Harley uses the boxing glove on Supergirl and it's just it hits her and it bounces right back and decks Harley in the face. It's hilarious. Oh, just crazy. She's knocked out. Let's see. So Supergirl fights this giant elephant topiary and these lion topiaries. It's pretty cool. Again, keeping the Kryptonian busy. Not bad.
Mm-hmm.
So see again some fighty fight stuff going on here. Batgirl's dodging some blast from Livewire, who wants to roast the Bat because she's really sadistic. I want to roast that lady. I tried roasting in Act 1. I'm going to fry that Batman. Or that Batgirl, man. What have you. All right, so let's see. So Batgirl, essentially what she does here is quite clever. Uses a trash can lid that kind of deflects some of the blast and ends up catching the topiaries on fire, which leads to Ivy's undoing here, where again, my baby! The villain being her own undoing. Topiary catches fire, which requires some water.
Yeah.
Yes, anyway, so Livewire gets shorted out because of basically turning the little kind of the water park aspect of the place. She gets shorted out. Supergirl kind of gets Batgirl out of there, and all the villains are defeated.
All right.
Yeah, then we have her ending.
Yeah, Dragon, I'm having some really bad stomach problems, so can you just end it out?
Right. Okay. So Bullock's being interviewed on TV as the gal pals are eating ice cream. Basically, they're like roommates at this point. That's really cute. Just see them kind of hang out out of costume. That's kind of nice. And this tracks in the DCAU where they become buddies, and they're during the holiday episode of Justice League. This is where we mentioned hey, where's Kara? She's hanging out with Barbara at the ski slopes during the holidays. So this is where all that comes from, being the points. Anyway, so Bullock's saying. He's not giving him credit, but he's kind of giving him a wink. We're saying, who's responsible for us? Oh, just a couple of rookies. Says, oh, you bums! But they show real potential. They're giving each other a high five. Yeah, we swayed Bullock. Hooray! That's the episode.
All right, final thoughts, Dragon.
Final thoughts for me. Look, if not for the Batgirl meeting Supergirl of it all, probably, and this is not an insult to the episode, probably the least necessary episode of Batman the Animated Series overall. If not for that fact that these two meet each other, it's harmless, just not that remarkable outside of the action. I love the action beats. I think that's great. And outside of outside of really that one scene, we don't really spend a lot of time with Supergirl and Batgirl. It's just it's kind of a shame because this dynamic is a really great idea, and I would have liked to see more of it. I wish it was kind of more of a Superman episode than a Batman episode at the end of the day, because it's really noticeable that Batman's not here. But that probably would have been that way anyway, sliced. So not much of a criticism, but a big takeaway of the episode is crossover potential of the DCAU continuing. The whole Batman-Superman dynamic, which will lead the Justice League, and so on and so forth. Okay episode. Not a go-to by any stretch for me.
All right, take us out.
All right. A love story like no other. The origin of madness. The ultimate death trap. Will Harley Quinn finally win the Joker's affections once and for all? Can the Batman escape this time? Will Commissioner Gordon ever get a day off from crazy? Tune in next time to find out. Same animated bat time, same animated bat place.
On the next visit to the animated Batcave with Mad Love.
You out of your mind?